When we talk about motivation to study, I suggest starting with what motivation is. How do you understand this word? For me as a psychologist, motivation is the energy, the inner impulse in us to do something. We'll say about 4 types of motivation called initial, action, values, and success. So, those type of motivation, initial motivation, can be compared with inspiration, with a natural craving for knowledge. It's like those emotions, the very first moments when you fall in love, energy over the age. But then it changes, and even in love, there is a place not only for inspiration, but also for mutual responsibility, discipline, and predictability in behavior, which creates comfort for two. And the situation with initial motivation to study is the same. At the third stage, the motivation is maximum because we are carried away by some topic and a natural craving for knowledge calls us forward. And paradoxically, at this stage there is a risk of emotional burnout. If you study or work too hard, attention to the state of your body is very important. Do you manage to get enough sleep? How does your body feel? How active is it during the day? Does it receive food of the proper quality and in the proper volume? And even such a seemingly small thing as going to the toilet not on time can cause the irritation and demotivation. So, second type of motivation. From inspiration, we'll move on to implementation. Here the second type of motivation of action. Here the difficulties begin. Imagining what's like to learn chemistry or even acting, and actually studying them is a big difference. Any activity aimed at achieving a goal requires discipline, clear outline the rules of the game. How I study, how I rest, how I encourage myself when I fulfill obligations, and how I limit myself if I break my word. Here discipline comes to the fore. Moreover, we're talking about individual and reasonable discipline, about knowing yourself and your characteristics. What helps you get down to study when you don't want to? Remember the moment when you managed to move from procrastination to real action? What worked for you? How do you feel more comfortable doing tasks? In the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening? What helps you feel satisfied with what you've done? What are the main barriers for you, internal and external, and how could you organize yourself to eliminate them? What mainly takes the time that you wanted but could not use to study? How could you reduce this temporal loss? The faster and more accurately you answer these questions, the easier it will be for you not only to study now, but also to work later. Third type of motivation. So when your study goes on, the initial love for inspiration is replaced by routine. If you want to continue, not quit, the motivation of meanings turns on. Motivation of meanings and values is the third type of motivation. When you have already done a lot, but there is still no result, you should remember your meanings to have support from within. If you know for the sake of, you can survive anyhow. At this stage, it is important to start asking yourself system-forming questions. What do I want? Why is this important to me? As I flew along the timeline into the future, what result would be the most desirable for me? And when I go to this result and implement it in the end, what valuable things come into my life? What is important to me? What do I live for? Who am I? How do I want to manifest myself in life? What is my purpose as something without which I will definitely not be happy in this life? Finally, the third type of motivation is the motivation for success. This is the strength and courage to complete the projects that have been started. For example, after a long time mastering a particular course, go and take an exam. To take it not in order to get an excellent mark, but to do a final step to your goal. Even if your mark is not the one that your mom, dad, teacher, or even you want, the result still gives you the opportunity to pause, to reboot, or reconfigure. This is about next step to your goal. The main difference between a successful person and a loser is the attitude to movement. To be a loser means stop at the intermediate stage before reaching the final result. It's not a question of luck or bad luck. It's a question of a moment when a person decides to stop and no longer move towards the result. So, if you have a goal in study, in your life on the whole, go further and take your exams with understanding that an exam is only one little step on your brilliant way. Good luck.